Welcome to another new episode of the Declutter Me podcast with myself, Shelina. Thank you for listening as always. Especially thank you for listening to last week's episode, which was very personal for me about my mental health journey. Thank you for sending me your comments, your journeys, and sharing that with me. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I hope it helped you to get out of the dark place that you might have been at that time. And if you didn't know about the correlation with clutter and mental health, that this episode helped enlighten you for future. So thank you so much for the comments. I think 99% of it was positive, so thank you. I do, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate it. Today I thought I'd talk about something light because it's been a bit heavy recently. So today I'm talking about belts, and which helps lighten the weight of your trousers, skirts, and jeans, right? So yeah, that's a terrible segue. Anyway, belts. I'm an advocate, of course, of having as few belts as possible. I have 6, and 3 I use most of the time. I have one that I wear with my jeans when I'm working, which is nearly every day, and I've been wearing them for over 20 years. I think 25 years even. It's a perfect, simple, black leather belt and will only be thrown away if it ever falls apart. So that's the thing with belts. You could spend a little and get a crappy plastic one that falls apart, or invest in a few good stable ones and have them last for eternity. My leather one that I wear now for work was not that much. I got it from a high street store, but it was leather and it was more expensive than normal, but it's worth every penny because I still use it. And then there's also the belts that you get with dresses and shirts and trousers and skirts, which are mostly cheapy looking, and you forget that you have them often. And even when you declutter the clothes, you forget that you have that belt with them, and you don't match them when you put the clothes for wash and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about, the good belts, the crap belts, all of the belts. So here's how we're going to start. Let's get to the decluttering first. So first, get all of them out of everywhere. So get them out of your, I've seen them in lounges, bathrooms, bedrooms, under the bed, in the wardrobe, in drawers, everywhere. Right, so find the belts. Even kitchens. I've actually seen them in kitchens. I've seen them around the place. People like to put them in bags. You know how I have a thing about paper bags and people putting stuff in paper bags and never taking them out? Yeah, I've seen belts in there as well. So get all of them out. Get them from everywhere you can find them. Then declutter the belts that are broken, don't fit, are plain ugly and should never have been there. And the ones I mentioned before that were with some clothing item and you already decluttered the clothing item but didn't declutter the belt. So declutter the belt now, unless it's a good belt which you could use with something else. But if it's not, then declutter it. If the belt is supposed to be with a clothing item and isn't right now, match it up. So that's an easy win for you. So find the dress or the skirt or trousers or whatever which matches with that belt and put them together. So you should be left with the belts that are kind of separates. But if there is a belt that's supposed to be with something but actually is quite versatile and can be used with other items, put that in your loose pile. So, as we're going to call it. We're going to call it the loose pile. And then with the loose pile, sort them out, not by colour, which is what I normally say, but by what you use most often and by the type, so whether it's casual or formal. So most probably use the casual ones more often, unless you wear, you're a guy and you wear the belts for work, so then you might have a lot of them as well for work. So look at the ones you use most often and then look at the type and then the colour, and organise it based on that. And then decide, based on how many you have and what types you have, where you're keeping them. So you can have them in the wardrobe, hanging on one of those special hangers that you use for scarves and belts. I'm not a fan of them. I find they fall off, it looks cluttered, it looks messy. But sometimes that's all you can have because you haven't got any other space. So see what works for you, whether it's one of those hanging devices, a drawer, you have special slots in drawers or boxes, or you can use like an acrylic stand, which is like what I've got recently for my belt. So I've put, you put your belt inside it and it keeps it safe. I haven't done it properly here, but this is great, so you can see it quite easily. Yes, I had the gold Gucci belt, which was on TikTok recently. A guy was saying how much of a loser people were with these belts. I felt attacked. I felt very attacked. I love my Gucci belts. I know I'm name dropping, but I love them. My silver one more than my gold one, but the silver one I've had for more than 10 years, so they're an investment. So that guy who mentioned that thing on TikTok, jog on. Anyway, back to us. So, yeah, see what works for you. So for many years, I put my belts in a box, in a drawer to keep them tidy. But as there's new organising tools that come out, I decided to buy this stand to try it out and to see if it worked for myself before it works for clients. So I have to do it, it's part of my job, but for you don't want to waste money too much, so see what's out there and see what works for you. And do remember that belts need to have a sensible place to be stored, so you can find it in less than 5 seconds moving forward, because belts are used very often, even though they're just an accessory, but it has to be somewhere that you can access it quickly and easily. And yeah, so that's it. So find them, declutter them, organise them by category and use, and then store them away in a place that's good for you. If bear with me a moment, my cat just sat on my mouse. If you want to know about where I bought this acrylic belt organizer, I will put it in my show notes. I bought it from Amazon. I have an Amazon shop in a few countries now, so you can get details about that and about other belt organizers that I recommend that you can get from Amazon. Yeah. And I'll do also a social media video about this organizer and how it looks in my drawer, so you can see for yourself if it will work for you. As I said, I only have 6 belts, so I didn't need too many of these organizers. You might need a bit more. It might not be suitable for you, but you can have a look on my video and decide for yourself. So that's it. It would be lovely if you liked, shared this podcast episode. Also follow me on social media at DeCluttrme on all your favorite social media. And thank you as always for listening and for subscribing. I do appreciate it, and I appreciate the comments, the reviews, everything. Thank you so much as always. I hope you found this episode useful today, and I'll speak to you next week. Take care. Bye.